Okay, well, welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Carl, I was at the Chaplains Conference last week speaking on behalf of New Life, and I think Carl is like this secret superstar. I'm not really sure how many times people mentioned your name, but if your ears weren't buzzing last Wednesday and Thursday, I'm not sure why, because Carl's a superstar amongst the chaplains. So thank you for having me here. And it's so fun to hear what God's doing with you post-retirement. I don't think Carl's ever going to retire. And we certainly do miss you. We certainly miss working with you every day. But so yes, I'm Nadia. I am the executive director at New Life Prison Ministries. I've been in this role for almost 2 years, not quite, a year and a half. And I love my job. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. He mentioned Linda. She is also a superstar, I'm learning, within the chaplains world. Linda's role is the director of student care and outreach, and she takes care of our chaplains and our students. She makes sure that everybody has what they need when they need it. She's also a very strong prayer warrior, and makes it a point to stop and pray at least strategically 3 or 4 times a week, just to pray for the people that she's in contact with a team of prayer warriors, but also just throughout her day, we'll stop and pray with chaplains. And so we are thrilled to partner with you guys in this mission of prison ministry. So a little bit about us. I'm sure Dwight has given you some of this information, but if it's a repeat, I apologize. We've been in ministry now for 43 years, humble beginnings through Garrett and Susan Block, who worked tirelessly, hands-on, starting a ministry of Bible correspondence courses in Ontario, London, Ontario, and then moving it throughout the nation. And since then, we've had a couple of executive directors, Rosemary Redshaw, who many of you might know. She was a chaplain for a number of years. And then June Dreyer, who came in for a short time and made a lot of significant technology changes, and then now me. But our mission has always been the same. We are here to bring transformation and hope through the good news of Jesus Christ through into those who are in Canadian prisons. And we work tirelessly every day to do it, along with all of you. And so the mission has stayed the same throughout the 43 years. We really have not changed our mission. And even you're going to see the way we do this hasn't changed a lot, other than maybe some tech updates and some fancy new software. We still do it the good old-fashioned way, and that's through the Word of God. And so how do we reach them? Well, we work with chaplains. So chaplains are our best friends and our partners in ministry. Without the chaplain, we can't meet the inmate. That's the way we look at it. And so chaplains across Canada right now that we serve are about 140. I think there's about 300 maybe in and out of that number. And of course, you all know this is turning into a multi-faith system. And so we try to work very closely with any chaplain that wants to work with us, but to strengthen our Christian chaplains so that we can be praying for them and make sure they are not only getting the resources that they need, but getting the support that they need. And what I learned last week at the Chaplains Conference was that they are very tired, and burnout is on the rise for chaplains across Canada. And certainly I was very happy to see that the Ontario Correctional Service Executive Director, who was in attendance for 2 straight days, is taking that very seriously and working with a lot of psychotherapists and social workers to make sure chaplains have what they need from a support mechanism. And I think Frank Liu is a big part of that. For those of you that don't know Frank Liu, he's the chaplain of the chaplains, I guess. It's a newer role, and he's bringing the attention that's needed at the government table level. So please add him to your prayer list. We use Bible correspondence courses. If you haven't seen them, you'll see a couple covers in the coming slides. And we also use ARC devices, which I'll talk about. And then the real gold standard to our program is what we call our instructors program, where we partner an inmate with an instructor on the outside that provides one-on-one discipleship through letter writing and feedback on their courses. So our courses are very topical in nature, but all biblically focused. These are some of our famous studies. Most people that work in the prison system might have seen these covers floating around. We have, as Eric said, we have over 100 studies, and those are growing. We try to keep our curriculum as current as possible, and we use chaplains for feedback so that we know what topics to cover. We are seeing a new trend with chaplains wanting to help with mental health and mental wellness for inmates. And so my psychotherapy degree, I have a master's in clinical counseling, is coming in handy. So I'm hoping to write some more resources with regards to anxiety, depression, cognitive distortions, family cycle issues. So you're going to see some more titles coming from our own deck, but we do have quite a depth of studies. As well as these topical studies, we do have true Bible studies. So, we do one of the Gospels, we do Romans, we do spiritual disciplines. So all of the major topics of discipleship are covered. This is one of our newer studies, Manga Messiah, which, excuse me, my computer is going to die. Just one second. So Manga Messiah is a book that we took over from Crossroads Prison Ministry, which closed in 2021 and then reopened in 2022. Yes, very confusing, but we are still the right holders to Manga Messiah. And we are seeing that this product is responding quite well to people with literacy issues, which we know inmates struggle with literacy. They're reading at a grade 6, grade 8 level. And so we currently have, I think 500 students have run through this program in the last 18 months. So it is very popular, and we're hoping that that just continues to grow. It's just another way to outreach and present the Gospels in a way that's understandable. And here's our famous ARC device, which is growing in popularity. We have about 6,400 of these across Canada right now, and they are our answer to some of the literacy needs as well. We play about 180 hours of Christian content, including some of our studies. We have Alpha on there now. Celebrate Recovery is on there. There's some testimonials, the New Testament, some Psalms, the Gospel of John, and some music. And what we learned through COVID was that this item became very useful for officers as a mental wellness tool. So inmates were using it to fall asleep. And so it's grown in popularity. And so we are actually working with Converge Canada to revamp this product a little bit, make it a little bit more current and up to date, and add some more content that will help broaden its exposure and be used sort of more widespread. I'm seeing some questions in the chat. Okay, no, not questions, never mind. Yeah, so our ARC device right now, we just did a fundraiser, praise God, for 1,500 ARC devices, and we surpassed our goal. So we'll be sending those out shortly across Canada. And like I said, we're hoping more institutions approve this product. They have to be approved by correctional services to get in. Carl, was this approved in Ottawa? I don't remember. If Ottawa
no, it wasn't. They had some issues with it. So I flew it by the security manager and the superintendent, and they just stalled. So no, it never got through.
So I kind of pitched last week at the Chaplains conference that it get approved again for mental wellness now that we're revamping it. So I'm hoping the executive director bought my pitch. So if you want to add that to your prayer list, we would love for more inmates to get this, because while it is being used for mental wellness, it is presenting the gospel. So it fits our mission beautifully. It encourages a conversation with chaplains. It's got lots of positives to it. So we're hoping we can grow the ARC devices even more than we already have. So next, so the hallmark of our program is really that partnership with volunteers across Canada. We have about 200 instructors across Canada right now that are fully trained, and an inmate is partnered with an instructor, and they write letters back and forth. And it's a beautiful relationship that unfolds. I'm sure Eric can testify to that at some point, but it becomes this beautiful back and forth discipleship model that allows for feedback and correction and prayer and love. And this is where our program sort of sets apart from other programs. It's not just resources, it's relationship. And so we're really thankful for our instructors for doing this. The bond that is created between inmate and instructor is beautiful. So the good news is we are expanding our reach and we are growing daily. We were one of the ministries through COVID that was not stifled. In fact, we grew because we didn't have any in-person need. So we had more studies than we could process at one point, which was a beautiful thing, even though they were delayed in the mail getting to us because of the system, we still grew. So right now, this year alone, we've already served 2,000 inmates. 1 out of 40 inmates are doing New Life studies. I think that number is actually better now. 7 out of 100 become believers. And we are on track to process about 15,000 studies this year. And to give you context, that means we're mailing out 45,000 Bible studies to chaplains across Canada. And so our reach is growing and expanding by about 25%. And we're just thrilled that God is doing this. And the best part is we've had 220 salvations this year alone and 10 recommitments. And so we're so thankful. You know, I was speaking at a church yesterday and the pastor came up to me at the very end when I was leaving, and he said, you know, some churches never see 1 salvation in a year. And here you are reporting that you've heard from 220 new Christians, and what a blessing it is to see that happen. And so we're so thankful that we're on the front line of that, of the gospel being spread and the kingdom growing. And so that's what I prepared for you, just to give you an overview. Was that what you wanted, Carl? I hope I did you justice.
You did wonderfully. Thank you so much, Nadia. I appreciate that. And
no problem.
I'm going to take you off of speaker view, go back to gallery. If you have a quick question for Nadia, now would be time, but we have to remember that we basically have about a half hour left, and we're going to be tight on time trying to get everybody in. But any quick questions?
I have just a quick question for you, Nadia. In
Sure.
terms of your people marking these studies and also the counselors or the people that team up with the volunteers, are these people, is this a remote thing that happens with volunteers all across Canada, or do they have to be in, and how do people go about volunteering for that?
Yeah, so we during COVID actually moved our instructor model all online. So we have instructors all across Canada, and you actually sign into a private portal. You receive the letters from the students in that portal. You respond to the letters in that same portal, and then we print them and mail them out here in the office in London. So yeah, it's something you can do from home, and we train our instructors on how to respond so that you're not triggering. We proofread every letter that goes out. But it is something people can do from the comfort of their home. And actually, most of our instructors love it because they can, on a Saturday morning, just respond. It's one of those volunteer roles that you do at your own pace, really. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else before we move on? Okay. I just wanted you to get an update from Nadia and hear some of the things. I'm sure she could keep us busy all day with examples of how God is using just this one organization. And everyone on the screen. You're doing marvelous work, and that's what Released for Good and Prison Networking Group is just in bringing people together, patting each other on the back and encouraging, and we will be praying for the needs you're going to be sending out. You've mentioned some needs, but you had also said that you're going to send me a list of prayer requests that I can share with the group. And so thank you, Nadia, for coming on. And
You're welcome.
you're welcome to stay until the end of the call. And but if you have to leave, obviously go for it. But
Yeah, no, I'm happy to stay. I've booked the time, so I'd love to listen and peer into
Okay.
what you guys are learning for sure.
Thank you.